Congressman Swalwell, you and I are actually, I think, on together. I heard you earlier. It doesn't sound like you believe Robert Mueller's report was a referral to Congress, or do you?
I do.
Okay.
But Chuck, no one's going to question my vigor in holding the president accountable, but I do want to make sure we get this right. We only get one shot at it. So prepare for impeachment. That's what I've told my colleagues. Let's get the full Mueller report. An eighth of it has been redacted. Let's have the special counsel testify publicly. Let's have Don McGahn come in and build the case that way, bring in the public sentiment, get more Republicans than just Justin Amash. I'm the only presidential candidate who actually has to try the case, and so I want to make sure that I'm doing all I can to be prepared as we go down this road.
I want to play something for you that Justin Amash said yesterday about the issue of impeachment, the lone Republican that is supportive of the process. It's SOT number 1, guys. Let's play it, and I'm curious of your reaction to it.
To me, the conduct was obviously impeachable. So then the question is, do you then move forward with impeachment proceedings? And my biggest concern, I thought about this for a long time. Like I said, I spent a month reviewing, analyzing, thinking about it. And I am concerned that we've gotten to the point where impeachment may never be used in any circumstance. And I think that is a greater risk than the risk that it will be used too often.
Congressman, your reaction to that?
I agree with him, Chuck. Look, let me use an analogy as a father of a 2-year-old and a 7-month-old. When my 2-year-old misbehaves, I know that it's uncomfortable to discipline him and take toys away and see him cry. But I know that if I don't do that, he's going to get worse. And his 7-month-old little sister is going to look at that as the future standard of conduct. And the president has us in this position where, politically he is suggesting that he would do better if we impeached him, and we have to not let that get into our head. Remember, he did the same thing in 2016 when he said the election was going to be rigged, and that got in the heads of the Obama administration, and they didn't want to tell the world the Russians were rigging the election, so they held back. So I'm mindful of all of this, Chuck. It's not binary. It's not as easy as to impeach or not to impeach.
I was just going to say, in 5 years, do you think it's going to be easier to explain a decision of opening an impeachment inquiry or not opening one?
Opening.
That it's going to be a lot easier to defend opening an impeachment inquiry? Why?
Yeah, I do. I think the public ultimately understand that this is a lawless president who left us with no other course of action. But, Chuck, again, I am mindful that this is the most extreme remedy that the Constitution gives the Congress. The voters have the first right to elect a president. We put a balance of power on the abuses of power with the midterm elections. We've tried to use subpoenas and oversight in court fights to win, and he is just not obeying. I think that's where we land. But, again, we get one shot. I want to make sure we get it right.
I am curious. I want to play for you SOT number 3 from Mueller on Barr, because I'm guessing this is the reason why you are calling for the impeachment of a Trump administration official right now, and it's not the president. Let's take a listen to Mr. Mueller, and then I want to get you on the other side.
At one point in time, I requested that certain portions of the report be released. The Attorney General preferred to make the entire report public all at once. And we appreciate that the Attorney General made the report largely public, and I certainly do not question the Attorney General's good faith in that decision.
I think it's very important, that phrase, in that decision. He was not happy about the other decisions there. Do you believe that Bill Barr intentionally misled us?
Yes. He has, I believe, he's prejudged the Mueller investigation when he sent an unsolicited letter to the Department of Justice saying that essentially a president couldn't be above the law. I don't think he should have been confirmed. I think he should have been recused. But he's mischaracterized the investigation. More importantly, as far as legally, he has refused to comply with a congressional subpoena. We should move to impeach him. I see him as a front door obstructor if you want to get through and get the documents you need to hold the president accountable. And it would send an example to the administration and the president that no one's above the law.
So you would move to open an impeachment inquiry right now in the Judiciary Committee on Barr. Are you going to call for that next week?
Yes.
Are you going to call for that next week?
I have. I called for it 2 weeks ago, as well as Mnuchin. Again, he's not turning over the president's tax returns. The law is very clear on that. We have to start having consequences for these lawbreakers.
Congressman Eric Swalwell, member of the Judiciary Committee and a presidential candidate. I appreciate it. Thanks for coming on and sharing your views.
Thanks, Chuck. Of course.
Hello, YouTubers. If you're watching this, it means you've checked out our channel, so thank you. Now do me a favor, subscribe by clicking on that button down there. Click on any of the videos to watch the latest interviews and highlights from MTP Daily and MSNBC. You can get more Beat the Press content every morning in the First Read newsletter. If you're tired of content that you don't know anything about where it came from, you don't have to have that problem with us. NBC News, MSNBC, MTP, and the Meet the Press mindset right here for you on YouTube. Subscribe now.